Are you praying to Jehovah? Make sure you throw your burden on him. Get out more in the ministry. Keep busy. How about pioneering? Can you be more busy in the theocratic work? Well, maybe you should check into professional help. But the Awake doesn't endorse any particular treatment or therapy. Hey guys, welcome to the CO visit. It's Colin, my trusty soda today. Any of those things sound familiar? Any of those things? Well, the expert on mental health, since right now on jw.borg, there's a article from 2003 that they're showcasing on their front page, which is about mental health. Mental health. Coming from the organization that has frowned upon anything having to do with mental health and professional help, like psychiatrists and therapists and psychologists. Now, all of a sudden, they've made this slow shift over the past years, since now the question of mental health, I think they finally understood that they just can't ignore it. But they keep doubling down on the fact that being busy in their activities is the true answer to mental health. Now, very interesting that what I said at the end there, because in that article, of course, when they say that you might need professional help, of course, they always have to get this in there. And it says, because it's an Awake magazine, Awake, as if that's not them, Awake does not endorse any particular treatment or therapy. They always have to make sure they say that. Oh, but we're not telling you. They just can't do it. They have to say that. And I like that how they say Awake. Awake doesn't, as if that's somebody else. Whether it's Awake, the Watchtower, whether it's the Christian Congregation of Jehovah's Witnesses, whether it's Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Pennsylvania. It's all the same organization, headed by the governing body, and all those articles are written by the same writing department and endorsed by their legal department. Okay? So, my friends, when you are, another logical question, any ailment that you might be suffering from, whether it be physical, mental, or otherwise, according to Jehovah's Witness doctrine and belief, all of us have inherited sin, right? You have inherited sin, which means growing old, getting sick, and everybody, regardless of whether you have the favor of Jehovah or not, regardless of whether you're saved or not, nobody is exempt, nobody is immune from having mental health problems. Nobody is immune from getting sick, having cancer, getting old, having OCD, being autistic, whatever it might be. And Jehovah is not going to help you. Jehovah is not going to heal you. Because right now, by his own word, his hands are tied. Because right now, it's Satan's time, right? Until Jehovah steps in and brings Armageddon. And then after that, people will start to revert back to perfection, right? But until then, you're SOL. So, my question, Jehovah's Witness friends, being that the case, why wouldn't you look for professional help? And why can't your leaders tell you to do that? Now, of course, no corporation or organization is going to pretend to come out and tell you, well, you need this treatment, you need that therapy. Of course not. Obviously, that goes without saying. You don't even need to say that, but they need to tell you that they're not endorsing, professional mental health help, which means psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists. They can't resist it. They have to tell you that. So if the case is, well, at the same time, right now, because of inherited sin, and until Jehovah's set day comes, the only thing I have to turn to is medicine, right? Doctors, hospitals, all that kind of stuff, which, thank goodness, we've developed a lot of treatments for things. People can have relatively normal lives with the treatments out there and therapies for mental health. So why wouldn't you look for it? That's the question. The only thing the organization really has to do, they don't have to tell you a specific or endorse a specific treatment or program, but they can give you, at the very least, the resources that are available in your locale, right? In your area. Hey, why not on the information board post up a number of clinics and therapists and things like that, and let the people decide for themselves? Oh, but the Kingdom Hall's not for that, is it? Heaven forbid we actually help somebody. That's the underlying attitude of Jehovah's Witnesses in the congregations and the governing body. Oh, the information boards only for theocratic things. But they can't, as I said, they can't ignore the fact that mental health is a thing. It always has been a thing, but they can't turn a blind eye to it anymore. Especially after the pandemic messed a lot of people up. And I'm pretty sure when they looked at the numbers and all the stuff that's going on in the congregations, the dwindling numbers, I should say, somebody probably told them, we might want to pay attention and maybe lighten up the rhetoric a little bit when it comes to mental health. Because, with the people who are sitting on the governing body, a lot of them, with the age that they have, they come from a generation where you just sucked it up, right? Suck it up. All right? You're a man. Just like that brother told me when he wanted me to go back to my ex-wife. You're a man. And men have to put up with a lot, Oh, yes, and what men they were, right? They were such men. All those men that came back from, for example, from the greatest generation, the ones that came back from war and all of that. And they just sucked it up. And the majority of them were fighting mental health problems and alcoholism and beat on their wives and their kids. But they sucked it up. That's what being a man is, right? So, guys, mental health is a real thing. It doesn't mean you're any less of a man for asking for help. And let me guarantee you, when you read that article and it puts all the burden on brothers and sisters in the congregation, they want other brothers and sisters to be the therapists and the psychologists. So it's kind of funny because the articles aren't really directed at the person with mental health. They're directed at everybody else. If you read that, you'll notice that. It's like, wait a minute, I read this article thinking I'm going to get some help for mental health, but it's not for me. It's for everybody else. And it's telling them how to deal with someone with mental health issues, which creates more stigma. And so it's telling them, listen to the person, try not to be judgmental, do this, do that. You can't do that, especially on people that aren't even your family. You can't expect normal people in a congregation that have absolutely no idea what's going on. They have no idea what depression is all about, and anxiety or OCD or autism, and expect them to put all this burden on themselves and be your therapist and talk to you and listen to you, they won't do it. And you know what? That's how misunderstandings happen. That's how people get offended. That's how, you end up actually separating from the congregation. When some asshole elder, like in my case, can see the situation that you're going through and still tell you, when is this going to stop? That's the kind of things that happen when you expect people who are not trained and are not prepared to deal with those kind of things, and you put them in that position and you want to make them the therapists. All for what? Because you don't want to risk people going to a psychologist or a therapist and maybe find out that part of the problem is the religion that they're part of. That can be causing a lot of your anguish. How evil of you, Watchtower. How selfish. How petty. Just so you can keep up your numbers, just so you can keep those donations coming in, just so you can keep getting subsidies and help from these governments. Pieces of shit. They're all pieces of shit. The governing body, elders, all of the lot of them. They're all in the same category. How dare you? How dare any of you think that you are even anywhere prepared to help someone with mental health problems, or to go this little party, this little committee, and go to hospitals and think that you're going to tell doctors and educate them about best practices when using blood and things like that. How arrogant. I mean, the arrogance is just staggering. It's awe-inspiring, the amount of arrogance behind all of that. A bunch of people that don't even have college degrees are going to sit there and tell professionals in the healthcare field and other fields what they should be doing or not doing. I mean, it's if this wasn't real, it would be laughable. It sounds like the kind of material that they could write a movie about. But this is real. This actually happens. People who, even this organization in 2021 keeps doubling down on this belief, like in the blood, for example. They're going to go tell doctors, health experts that went to school for over 20 years to become doctors, and you're going to go tell them what to do with blood when you still can't even understand that the prohibition in the Bible is dietary? I mean, you can't even understand that. Jehovah's Witnesses still refuse to understand what it's saying in Leviticus, when Jehovah forbade the Israelites, that's part of the Old Testament, the old law. We're not under that anymore. But he forbade the Israelites to eat blood. And if you understood these things, my Jehovah's Witness friends, why did Jehovah forbid them to eat blood? Because blood is alive. I can see most of you failed your biology classes in high school. Blood is a living tissue. It has cells, it has DNA. It has the active white blood cells that fight off infections and things like that. It has the plasma and all that stuff that clot your blood and all, it's a living tissue. If you eat it, you kill it. It dies. It goes into your digestive system. It gets broken down and it's dead. That's why Jehovah said, don't eat it. Because if you eat blood, it's akin to basically murder. You're destroying a living thing that he created. That's why he said the life is in the blood. But if you put blood in your vein, the same thing doesn't happen because that's a different body system. It's your circulatory system. And thank God, Jehovah made your bodies smarter than you guys, than your brains. The body can tell the difference. You can't. When blood goes into your veins, your body knows the difference. Once it's in your veins, it stays there. It becomes part of your circulatory system and your blood. That's how it saves your life. That's why Jehovah said, don't eat it. Now, answer me this, Jehovah's Witnesses. Why would Jehovah forbid you from taking something into your body that can give you life? Why? Jehovah wants you to die? Is that what it is? He needed something that he could forbid so that you would feel superior morally to everybody else and test your faith? Oh, but I thought James said that God doesn't test anybody. He can't be tested, and he doesn't test anybody with bad things. Well, if you have to potentially give up your life, isn't that bad? So what's happening there? Is there a contradiction, a glaring contradiction in the Bible, or could it possibly be that your doctrine is wrong, and that's what causes the contradiction? Just saying. Okay, this is it's a topic, guys, that could piss one off, as you can probably sense, right? Through my tone of voice and my body language. It's because when a person has a certain ailment, okay, you cannot expect people that have never had it and cannot understand it to take it on themselves to try to help this person. You can't do it. And if you've ever tried to help somebody that has mental health problems and you've taken that upon yourself and you've ended up almost sick yourself and burned out and just exhausted, and you realize that I can't take this on myself. I can't handle this. That's why people need to be directed to healthcare professionals. Just like if a person has cancer, you tell them to go to the doctor, go to an oncologist, and then go to you have the procedure that you need to get, because they will tell you, do you need radiation? Do you need chemotherapy? Do you need whatever you need? Oh, but no, when it comes to blood, we're going to go pretend to teach doctors what they need to do. That's just so light years beyond stupidity. It's unbelievable. So anyway, my friends, the bottom line message here is, don't put your healthcare in any other people there at your congregations. Go get help for yourself. Go get help for yourself before you find yourself on the other side of a suicide attempt, and then you're really going to get stigmatized in the congregation and labeled and probably marked. So anyway, I hope this resonates with some of you. Okay? Thank you for watching always. Remember that you can help support the channel, help me to buy more coffee. They got the super chats, we got memberships, and I'll see you in the next one. Be blessed.